Today we're going to be talking about moving to Kansas City, the 6 must-do things before you move here. I'm Caleb Lewis, your local Kansas City realtor. If there's anything I can help you with, whether you're moving here in 9 days or 90 days, doesn't matter to me. I would love to help you or be a resource for you if you have any questions about the Kansas City real estate market, loans, need a lender referral, realtor in a different state. I have a huge network and I'm just a wealth of knowledge. So please don't hesitate to give me a call or an email. They're both on the screen. So today we are going to jump right in. Okay, so the number one thing, if you're moving, look for someone, potentially me, that knows the neighborhoods and the ins and outs of Kansas City so that you don't end up in a bad part of town. I've heard of some horror stories where people kind of find someone or find an area and they just rent it because it looks good during the daytime, and then at nighttime it's not a very good area or it's not very safe for their family. So I would make sure, even if it's not me personally, that you find someone that you trust that knows the area really well, like back of their hand. Which is kind of weird saying. Number 2, decide what you want to do and your goal for moving to Kansas City, home ownership or a rental. If you're not sure if you're going to be here for a long time or if you think you might be transferred, then it might be a good idea to get into a rental instead of buying a home, where if you're putting your roots down, home ownership might be a better option for you. So I would take that into consideration and think about it for a while. Another thing that I have under this bullet point, it would be a good idea to take a trip out here before you decide to move out here. Kansas City is different culturally, in my opinion, just because it's a slower pace of life. We don't have the hustle and bustle. It's not New York. You're not necessarily running people over in traffic. Not saying they do that there either, but it's just slower pace of life than a lot of other metropolitan areas. So you want to check that out. And then also there's the Midwestern culture, and a lot of people are really nice or they want to talk to you, and they don't necessarily do that in other places, and you may want to make sure that you really like that. And then it's also different geographically. So there's no mountains and there's no oceans, such as a lot of other places, and you want to make sure that you like it if you're used to having the mountains, having the oceans, or whatever it may be that you grew up around. Okay, our third tip today is to get a car with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive is very tough. Winter or all-weather tires are seriously going to help your ability to drive around here. There's a lot of snow, there's a lot of ice and things that could inhibit your traction on the road. So you want to make sure that if possible that you have some kind of SUV or some kind of car with all-wheel drive, or at least all-weather or winter tires, to make sure that you're not at risk of sliding off the road. One time I was in a rear-wheel drive Jaguar from the 90s that I bought, I think for like $2,000 or something, back when I was, I think, 18 or 19, just for fun. And I was trying to drive around the Kansas City streets with that rear-wheel drive Jaguar, and I was sliding all over the place, the left, the right, and I just about nearly couldn't make it home. So I would definitely consider that and keep that in mind when you're looking into moving to Kansas City. Okay, so like I mentioned in number 2, number 4 is very similar. This is Kansas. This is not New York. This life pace here feels slower. It's definitely the same amount of time, but it's just a slower pace of life. They're not going to rush around. Going quicker or trying to rush people is not going to make them go faster. And people are just generally going to be slower than what you may be used to. So you may want to take that into consideration. Okay, number 5 is get winter clothes. Lots of places don't have all 4 seasons. I went to Florida a bunch of times and maybe I just packed a light jacket or a hoodie. But in Kansas, we have all the 4 seasons. So you're going to need a winter weather coat. If you're going to play in the snow, you might consider buying some coveralls or some winter snow pants. But here, when you're going to have to suit up so you don't get hypothermia. And then you want to stock up on hoodies in the spring, for the spring and the fall when they've got that kind of chilly when it's in the 50s and 60s. And then obviously summer it's going to be hot. So you want to make sure that you're ready for all 4 seasons and not just whichever one. Like, for example, if you're in Florida and you're just wearing hoodies or you're just wearing a light jacket, it is going to get cold here and you don't want to get hypothermia. The last thing I have for you here, number 6, is our Kansas City barbecue. I actually made a video about which ones I think are the 5 best. You have to go and watch that. It's linked in the description below. But if you're not digging into the burnt ends or the ribs or any of the other things that we have here in Kansas City that are really special to us and to our culture, then you're really missing out. And I think you should check into that. That wraps today's video up. I'm Caleb Lewis, your local realtor. If there's anything I can help you with, list a house, or you want to move here, want to buy a house, looking for a rental, whatever the case may be, I would love to help. My number or my email is on the screen. Just shoot me a text or an email, and I would love to help or be a resource for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.